All right, it is 6:00 p.m. I will call the, oh, all right, are we good? I suppose I should, Anastasia, are we good to start?
We are. I am confirming that we are live streaming and the meeting is being recorded. Go ahead.
Okay, great. All right. It is 6:00 and I will call the City of Kenmore Salary Commission meeting for 2021 in session. Our first order of business is to elect a chairman of the commission. We'll start with the easy path. Does anybody want to be the chairman or chairperson?
I'd like to nominate Stacy to be our chair. That would need a second, I'm assuming.
Technically, Darlene, do you have an opinion?
I would nominate you as well since Doug decided that, but I was gonna nominate him. But
Doug, do you want to do it? I don't have a strong opinion.
I'm easy either way. I'm fine doing it, and I'm fine with you doing it.
All right. So I guess there is a motion to have the chairman be Stacy Danuski and seconded by Darlene. I guess we'll take a quick vote. Doug?
Aye.
Darlene?
Aye.
It would be really funny if I said no, but I'll say aye. All right. So the chairman has been selected, and that will be Stacy Danuski. So I guess I will be walking us through this process of which I know very little. And we will get started. So the first order of business is to discuss the recommendations. I assume everybody's read all the materials, and there's not a lot of materials, a couple spreadsheets. I have no idea how the past commission did this in 15 minutes, but that was interesting to read. I guess we could just kind of start with I guess we can do a couple ground rules first. The first ground rule is that we're only going to be talking about salaries. We're not going to be talking about benefits. That might be the only ground rule. Anybody else know of another ground rule that we need to get out of the way right ahead?
Well, I don't know about ground rule, but it seems to me if we're going to be sort of faithful to an apples to apples comparable, we probably should be talking about Kenmore as a council manager form of city and looking at Kenmore versus other council manager forms of city, because mayor council cities with a strong mayor that's elected is a really very different animal.
I definitely agree with that. That's what I was using when I was filtering. I was on a council manager council manager and no benefits when I was looking at the spreadsheets. So, and that ended up still being a really wide range of information.
Yes.
This isn't obvious. Just so you know, there's no like just obvious answer here. That's for sure.
The other thing that I was going to bring up with the three of us is, I think to me, it's a little truer to do the comparables inside the Puget Sound. And I say that because I think that elected or mayors, appointed mayors and council members in this case, are going to be involved in many more regional discussions in the Puget Sound than they would be in Lewis County or Kittitas County. We have a Puget Sound Regional Council. We have a Sound Transit Board. We have a Sound Cities Association. We have a number of county council committees that use appointed city members. So I think whoever serves as a council member in a community like Kenmore is likely going to be involved in some level of regional discussions that their peers in some other counties wouldn't be.
That could be true. Let's see. I guess something that could just be easy to discuss before we get down to like actual salary. I am in favor personally of the continuing the 2% COLA with a 5-year limit on it. That might be something that we can just kind of get out of the way fairly quickly. if everybody agrees on that.
I agree with that.
Yeah, I also agree, but it depends on how much of an increase we decide for like the next year. Because if it's not as much, then we could maybe have like maybe like a 3%, maybe to catch up, or to have like for their pay to not their pay, but their compensation to be like to mirror the rest of the counties, if I'm making sense.
Okay. Yeah, I guess we'll kind of take it all together then, but it sounds like at least we're all in agreement that a COLA is something we want to continue. I also agree the 5-year limit is probably appropriate, since the salary commission is supposed to be a 5-year thing anyway. So
I agree with that. I mean, I can dive into some of my thinking, and I would encourage then Darlene and Stacy, you guys to do the same. I spent a fair amount of time with the spreadsheet, and as you two know, I really feel like we're going to be best served, and I hope we do this more for the future, if we get a better idea of the roles and responsibilities. I think in this case, we're lucky to have a former city council member who spelled that out a bit for us, and I found that helpful. So I was playing around with the numbers and using the numbers and the responsibilities that you shared, Stacy. I think you can conservatively say that elected city council members are going to spend 15 hours a week. I multiply that out times 52, and I add a couple of days of retreats that council members are involved in, and I'm just at about 800 hours. So the way the city's got the pay for council members now, it's about $1 an hour. And then with the mayor, at least in the case of the current mayor, he serves on the Sound Transit Board. He's involved heavily in Sound Cities Association. I believe he's involved in a lot of discussions with the county council and county council members. And so I think it's conservative that you can say that that's a 20 to 25 hour a week volunteer position, if you will. And so when I multiply that out times 52 and add some things like a couple of days for retreats, we're actually compensating the mayor of Kenmore at less than $1 per hour. And I know that it's not a situation where elected officials in a community like this one run for the office for the salary or the benefits or any of those things. I think they run for desire to be involved in and help shape things for their community. But I do think there's a signal that gets sent with this, and to me, the current amount I don't think sends a very positive signal about the value put on these elected officials. And as I looked at these numbers, as Stacy said, boy, they run a really wide gamut. You go all the way up to $3,000 a month for the mayor in a community like Bainbridge Island. So that's kind of an outlier. But I do think something like $1,500 a month for the mayor and $1,000 a month for the city council members, to me, is not out of line. It's not a budget buster, and I think it shows a more important value being placed on these elected officials. So I'm sharing with you two some of my opening thinking, and I'll shut up now and I want to hear what you two have to say.
Okay. Yeah, great thinking. So yes, those hours are definitely conservative. I can tell you that, especially for the mayor. But it's also depends on which mayor you have and how much time they have, and how invested they are as well. Our Mayor Baker is super invested. I guarantee he works well over full time on mayor stuff. But so I don't know if I was going to go quite that high, only because this is, I don't know. I don't want to say it's a volunteer position, but you aren't in this for the money for sure. Looking at the spreadsheets, it's such a wide range. One thing I did do is, if we gave them a 10% increase, the mayor would be at basically 1,093, city council 971, which kind of falls kind of in the middle of the data there. If we did them a 20% increase, the mayor would be somewhere around 1193 and council 1060, giving them close to a $200 raise. Also noting that for the last 5 years, the COLA ended up being basically like getting a 10% raise in itself. You know, I did the math on the, you know, what they started out with and what they have now, and it's pretty close to a 10% raise. The last time the commission went, it was more like a 23% raise, but I don't think they were doing COLA back then. If anybody knows otherwise, let me know, but I didn't see anything where they were doing COLA back then, so it made sense that they were doing kind of a bigger jump to get things in line. I don't think we're hugely out of line here, so 10%, 20%, I'm just kind of, my initial thoughts are somewhere in that range. How about you, Darling?
So sorry. So for me, I was looking at, I went a little lower. So I was looking at for the council members, like if we go for at like 3% the first year and then just do 2% as we keep going, they'll end up having about 1,000 within by 2027. And then after that, they could change something. But looking at your numbers, I feel like that's a little low. I was a little stingy there. And then with the council, with the mayor, I went with 5%, and then just doing the, 2% increase every year. He'll end up with like about 1,100 by 2027. But looking at it, then that's still low compared to you, the numbers you guys have dished out, and I think you guys are more fair. So
yeah, well,
go back to my numbers.
it's a hard one to decide on, since the data out there is so widely varied. If we did a 5% increase and then 2% after that, that would jump them up. Mayor would be around 1044 and council around 927. That only increases it probably about $50 a month, a little under $50 a month at the 5% range, and then 2% after that. So that's kind of what the 5% would do. Garrett, I was trying to ask this before. I know you're not supposed to say too much, but in case you know off the top of your head, do you know what the state COLA is? I know that we gave the commission before gave 2%, but I feel like there's a state number that COLA is per year. Do you know what that is this year?
Off the top of my head, I do not know that one.
Okay.
But I think 2% is a representative number. That's
I think that's reasonable. I mean, we're Seattle. It's in real life, it's more than 2%. But once again, this isn't a salary that you're making your life on either.
Garrett, can you? I have a question too that I think is safe for you to answer. Or Stacy, you may know from your days on council, what is the overall annual Kenmore City budget? Is it 30, 40 million? Do you happen to know?
I don't have that off the top of my head.
I don't have that up either. Sorry.
And I guess my point in asking that question, we're really at a de minimis portion of the city budget when you look at it, and so then to me it becomes more of a value statement. And I'm certainly, in the name of compromise among the three of us, I'm willing to come down on the numbers I offered up. But I think the fact of the matter is, looking at the rest of the data, whatever number we pick, we can say it's somewhere within the range of all the council manager cities. So I guess in some ways it's good because it gives us a lot of flexibility to determine the number we think makes sense.
This is true. So I guess for discussion, just thoughts off the top of our heads. Let's say we give them a 10% increase plus the 2%. Let's just talk to each of us and see if we think it should really be higher than that, lower than that, or if that's kind of where we want to go. Once again, that's giving them about $100 extra per month without the 2% per year.
So 10% would basically
That's
take the 994 up to about
1093 for the mayor, 971 for the council. 20% would do 1193 for the mayor and 1060 for the council. And I may have rounded those up or down, so within $1.
Yeah, again, I come back to, I think for what these folks are asked to do, which is quite a bit, and the array of things they're involved in, which is quite a bit. Whatever we end up with, it's going to be considerably less than $2 an hour. So it's not like they're going to start running for the compensation factor, but I'd be more prone to do the 20% one.
Okay, and 20% adds about 199, about that per month. So, which I don't think is out of the realm of, it's certainly not going over the top of what everybody else is at. It is kind of within the numbers. Darlene,
agree.
since you had some opinions about maybe being a little lower, what are your thoughts?
No, I agree. If we're gonna go that high, we could do, like a 20% and then just keep the 2% every year. It depends on their budget. If their budget cannot handle that, we can go a little lower, but add the percentages, maybe like 4 or 5% every year for the next 5 years, and then they can decide after that. But either way, we could just, I like the 20%.
Okay, I guess we'll do a motion right now, and motion on the table will be to raise the city council salary 20%, starting, I assume it starts next year, and then 2% each year after that for 5 years. So I'll go around and I'll let everybody comment and vote. So Doug, what are your thoughts on that?
I can get there on that. A point of clarification, I think we're talking about a staggered salary for mayor and council, right? So
yeah, I was going to do a 20% from what they have currently, which is the 883 and 994 for the mayor. So
right.
Each one increase that by 20% and then 2% each year after that.
Yes.
For 5
No,
years.
I can get to yes on that. My clarification was around making sure the motion identifies that we're talking about 20% both for the mayor and 20% for the council members above the current base.
That is correct. Darlene?
I agree on the motion as well.
Okay. Sounds like we've come to a decision here, which is great. We have 2 attendees on the call. And I guess right now we'll get to the public comment part of this meeting. So we have agreed that we will raise both the mayor and the council salaries by 20%. And then each year after that, ending at 5 years, we will increase 2% for cost of living. I will now open the meeting for public comment. If anyone wishes to be heard, you will have 3 minutes to comment. Raise your hand on the Zoom and we'll get you unmuted.
Can I just intervene really quickly?
Sure.
I just want to just clarify that the salaries on the spreadsheets, those are monthly salaries, not annual salaries that you guys saw.
Correct. Oh, yes. So
Okay.
yes, this is a monthly increase. Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah. Good clarification. Thank you. All right. Does anybody wish to be heard? Give one more minute to see if somebody's trying to get off mute, or, well, they can't get off mute yet, but raise their hand. Okay, it looks like we have no public comment, so that public comment will now be closed. And I believe that is the end
Garrett,
of
do we need a
our,
final motion?
Garrett, do we need to do anything more formal than,
I believe that the motion to raise the salary 20% with a 2% annual raise passed
For 5 years.
3-0. So it sounds like that's the final recommendation. Do you all agree to that?
I
Yes.
do, yes.
Yes.
Okay, then I think that that's all that you guys need to do for now.
Okay. Thank you, everybody, for your time. It is 6:20, and I will adjourn this meeting. Hope everybody has a great night, and thank you for all your work and research looking into this.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Bye.